Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Welcome back. I hope you're excited as much as I am, as we are now going through the actual positive Islamic psychology model as described in the notes that summarize the book, the Positive Islamic Psychology Manual. Alhamdulillah. We're talking about the physical environment and how that affects us. And that is the first input in understanding how we can change and how we can apply the positive Islamic psychology model. We talked in the previous episode about how our environment, our physical environment, food, shelter, poverty, famine, all these affect the way we develop, even mentally, physically and mentally. We talked about pollution. We talked about something called the collective insanity, or humanity is collectively insane, right? We keep doing the same thing, expecting different outcomes. But it seems that what we're doing is destroying us, but we're not stopping. Then we reach to the point of the issues of genes and how it affects our behavior. And some claim that we have genetic disposition towards, for example, alcoholism or drugs or anything like that, right? And some say that, this predisposition basically contributes to addiction. But let us look at it in a certain different angle. In countries where, for example, laws are strictly enforced, the incidence of drug addiction are much lower, very low. So why? That goes to show that the physical environment will be the final determinant in shaping the behavior of drug addicts, in this case, as it's an example. So similarly though, the science of epigenetics shows that the inherited genes are largely influenced by the physical and social environment. So bottom line, I think we rest our case in saying that the physical and social environment are so important in shaping behavior. Again, why do we need to know this? To change ourselves, to be aware, vigilant. تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ, to enjoy good, to forbid evil, to establish a model of practice around the world that protects the individual and protects the family, protects the deen, protects the morals and the values, protects the wealth of the people, protects their honor, right? The maqasid of the Sharia. Let us move on to the second input, interpersonal communication, social environment, other people and how they affect us. The next input that affects our total past learning history is the interpersonal communication. What is total past learning history? It's basically accumulation of all our experiences, conscious, unconscious, of what we have learned. It's called the total past learning history. It must be explained why interpersonal communication or social environment is considered as a separate source of input rather than a part of the physical environment. So it's not just the physical environment, it's not poverty, it's not food, it's not what happens. It is the influence in dealing with others, their beliefs, their systems, so which is very, very important. How does that affect interaction, learning, communication? We've been given free will by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can act in a good manner to make the world better or happier, or in an evil manner. وَهَدَيْنَاكُمْ نَجْدَيْنِ, Allah has guided us to the two paths. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that indeed is successful he who purifies it. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, and the one who corrupts it will be failing, right? So we can choose, either you act in a good manner or in this destructive or evil manner, right? The complex interaction of good and evil is reflected through our interpersonal communication and social environment. There are many scientific researches and discoveries in the field of communication and sociology that point to the complex interaction, right? So for the purpose of research in this positive Islamic psychology model, we will discuss how the physical environment, interpersonal communication, and social environment interact holistically with our inner speech. How does it influence it? How does someone else who talks to me, who gives me dawa, influence how I think about things internally, consciously and unconsciously? How does this affect my behavior? How does it change my beliefs? How does the action of others around me change my beliefs? If there's a cognitive dissonance or misalignment between what people are doing and what they believe in a society, which one will change first? Of course, it will be the belief, right? The belief is what changes, which in turn then changes the action. And that's why societies are corrupted. Let us meet in the next episode and explain this further.